Another part of the plane that was being tested long before the 777 existed was the flight control system. Boeing equipped one of its smaller planes, this 757, with a prototype of a brand new system that would be used in the 777. They had to test it in flight.
Right now I'm holding a lot of column force.
These tests came after many months of testing in simulators on the ground. The new system was called fly-by-wire.
I'll go to 10,000 feet and about 250 knots, and we'll stop there and do some evaluation.
Fly-by-wire is an unfortunate term. Probably electronic flight control system is as close as you can come to the real definition. But it's simply the idea that we use electrical wires rather than mechanical cables to transfer signals from the front end to the back end of the airplane.
Boeing's chief test pilot for the 777 was John Cashman. He would be the first to fly the plane once it was built. He quickly understood the advance that fly-by-wire represented over the more cumbersome system then in use.
An airplane, particularly a large airplane, has large cables that run from the cockpit controls to the actuators that move the surfaces. And almost all big airplanes are hydraulically moving the controls. Those large cable runs are very difficult to rig and very time-consuming to maintain them in rig. So from a maintenance side, it's a fairly big improvement in terms of time to maintain. The changes that one can make and improvements that you can add to an airplane are much easily done if it's a computer card change versus a mechanical redesign.
There's a pilot's joke about fly-by-wire systems that says that modern planes could be flown by a pilot and a dog. The dog to bite the pilot if he touches the controls, and the pilot to feed the dog. In fact, the computer systems that would be installed in the 777 were so intelligent that engineers believed they could make decisions that would be as good as those made by the pilot. But Boeing stopped short of letting computers fly the plane. It was a question of safety.
The biggest disadvantage from a safety point of view is the potential that you haven't thought clearly through all of the events that may occur and taken enough precaution. There's an apprehension anytime you change technology, and particularly when you switch from mechanical, which is visible, to electrical, which is not. And so to some extent, we've taken a conservative approach to make the airplane fly like a conventional airplane from a pilot's point of view.
One of the things that we do in the basic design is the pilot always has the ultimate authority of control. There's no computer on the airplane that he cannot override or turn off if the ultimate comes. But in terms of any of our features, even those that are built to prevent the airplane from stalling, which is the lowest speed you could fly and beyond which you would lose control, we don't inhibit that totally. We make it difficult, but if something in the box should inappropriately think it's stalling when it isn't, the pilot can say, this is wrong, and he can override it. That's a fundamental difference in philosophy that we have versus some of the competition.
The 777's computers, which were being tested on the 757, would translate the pilot's instructions into commands to move what are called the control surfaces, movable pieces of the wing and tail that allow the plane to change direction or altitude. This flight was one of a series to test how the fly-by-wire system felt to a pilot when he landed the plane. Like all testing on this new plane, every aspect of the test would be analyzed and discussed to see what lessons could be learned before the design was finalized. The process began with the post-flight briefing. The two pilots reported on how the plane felt as they landed it with the fly-by-wire controls.
Well, you're the third pilot now to have an experience like that, not unique to CSTAR-U landings, but simply on various landings reporting that your initial flare input generated a result greater than you anticipated.
You actually do that, you think, oops, you back off, and you always back off too much.
Yeah.
And you end up with a Navy landing,
Uh-huh. That means a good landing.
which by Frank's definition is an excellent landing.